Hello, Gotham. Nigma. Edward Nigma. What's going on out there, YouTube? It's SCL0320 back at it again for a brand new Gotham TV episode review. The title of this episode is The Spirit of the Goat. It's actually pretty interesting. I think it is, the synopsis for it is, when a killer begins targeting the firstborn of Gotham's elite, Bullock is forced to confront a traumatic memories from a nearly identical case he worked in the past. Later, Gordon is confronted by past decisions as well. This episode is actually really good. I actually really like this episode because it showed character development where they hadn't, because it's such a central focus on Data and Penguin and Gordon and even Bruce, more so than shadowing what's going on with other characters such as Bullock, such as Edward Nigma, such as like Catwoman, and you get to see little smart parts of their story arc that's going to be interwoven in, which is really good. But at the same time, it still essentially brings you back full circle. So like I said, the name of this is The Spirit of the Goat. You got the beginning of it, I think Bullock. I think he was considered kind of like how Gordon was, being like a showboater and trying to get things done the right way. And it was funny because one of the person they worked with was his last name Dix. He had said the golden rule of Gotham is there are no heroes. And I guess Bullock was the type who's like, I don't believe in that. I believe that city can be saved. And so it's really interesting seeing him in his element back then. And it actually transferred into when it gets to present day what's going on. Because this killer, for whatever reason, he believed that going through the process of actually killing Gotham's firstborns was the right thing. And the way that that story arc balances out, I never would have really kind of guessed how it would have went. I was like, all right, this person was the real killer. Because when the killers actually come back, you find out that Bullock had a secret about the killing that only the killer would know. And so it's real interesting how it all plays out. But like I said, the story development for Harvey Bullock is really done really well. And even like talking to his older partner, you can see that Bullock really has a true heart, you know? And I mean, to be quite honest with you, I felt like he is corrupt, but at the same time, he's a good man. And over time of just being like in that city, I can imagine over 10 years what's that gonna do to a person's mentality. And I mean, you know, Gordon, he's gonna be living here until he's like 70 years old, so you can only imagine mentally and emotionally how this is already gonna bring him up to certain things. But even like conversations with Barbara, I really like the way that Barbara kind of came back from like being like so dramatic, like I'm gonna leave you and all this. I was like, this woman loves him. Because, I mean, in spite of everything, she didn't go back to the police and say, well, this is true or whatever. Like, she's trying to work things out. And even with, like, Gordon, he's trying to balance what to do with this whole situation. Because he had said to her at one point, this is an interesting quote. He said, I came to Gotham to be a cop, you know? And he said, this city needs something else. And I wasn't prepared for that. And so that's a nod to him implying like something like Batman that is willing to go and be the vigilante of stopping corruption on an internal and an external level. It's like something that a real cop can't do. And so for him to really do what he has to do, he has to keep lies and secret and even like pervert himself to a extent to be able to capture these villains and just how dark the city is, you know. But even Edward Nigma in this episode is actually pretty funny. I mean, I don't know whether I like his character or not, but I know that the deeper and deeper his psychosis goes, the more he's not gonna be able to handle it. Like he thrives on riddles, and when people are not like giving him the certain amount of attention, I think Edward Nigma, part of his issue was when he reverted over was when he didn't get a certain amount of attention. And even like servitude, like how he's trying to help them out, but at the same time he stays in his element of thought process that he needs to have certain things certain kind of way and precise. And he had met up with some girl, I think her name was Kristen Kringle or whatever, and just their interaction, you could tell like he felt secluded and introverted. he tries to portray like he's an extrovert, like he knows everything, but truly he's an introvert, and it's just cut him up inside each interaction of person. He can see like, man, they don't care about me, and I'm interested to see when instead of him imploding, he explodes, because he's putting a lot of stuff in and taking it in that I didn't realize. You know, I mean, everybody kind of marks him off as being this joke and like he's weird, but you know, it's always the quiet ones, and he's quiet, but he's strange. And so it's gonna be interesting to see how his story arc goes. Even with Penguin, like you see, not necessarily so much on Penguin, but you get the understanding of his upbringing because his mom interacts with him at a certain point in this episode, and it's real crazy how you see like the mentality she's probed into his mind of thinking. It's just so interesting, but you see that there's something in Penguin that he's like, look, Mom, I'm gonna change the city regardless, you know, but there's certain things and certain people that I can trust, and it's just so interesting how everything. Jada was absent in this episode, which is surprising for me. The action in the episode, it wasn't all over the place. The killings, it wasn't so gory and whatnot, but I really liked how everything went through the processes of going through this and going through the other side of the story where Montoya is closed in on Gordon and saying that somebody has found like a witness to the murder of Cobblepot, and so it's like it's just all caving into the final bit of this episode, which really surprised me. The final part of the episode was real good because in the final part of the episode he went and oh, never mind, I'm not gonna tell y'all. But the final part of the episode ties the story arc of Cobblepot, Gordon's lies about it, and the end and conclusion is his murder. But there's another small thing that happened with Catwoman. When you look at this episode, you understand what I'm saying. That it's really interesting to see if and when there's going to be an interaction between Bruce and Catwoman in conjunction to the murder. Because I've been noticing she's been staying around the Wayne area and watching over Bruce, and I'm like, something's up with that, you know? And so if that plays into the mythos of everything, if she finds out or knows more about Batman than he even does, I think that's really awesome to see. But one thing that Bruce did say is when the goat person, like I said, he's killing the firstborn, Bruce said, he's not gonna attack me because I don't have anything to, like, there's nothing for me to lose, you know? And at the same time, he's like, I respect, he definitely is causing fear. He knows how to bring fear into the eyes. And even like the mask, I was like, this is so kind of Batman-esque. And when you find out like everything full circle, you're gonna see like, okay, I see why they did it. Now, the preview for next episode is what got me. I was like, oh snap. So definitely go and check this episode out. Should be on Hulu Plus tomorrow, straight in the morning. And otherwise, it's definitely going to be something that I really think you're going to enjoy. I think I give this episode, actually, I really liked it. I give it a 9.5 out of 10. I don't like, the only thing I didn't like is I felt like it could have been a lot more action in it. And I felt like they kind of rushed the end of how the story arc ended. But as far as full circle and bringing anticipation for the next episode, I am so anticipating the next episode more so than I was before. But anything else more than that is that they were not afraid to go into the other characters. That's why I was like waiting. I was like, are y'all gonna be playing it safe? Because the more you give the same exact thing, the more we're gonna get tired of it. Give us something more to work forward to in a different story arc when the time comes. Because I mean, you got a whole season now. So congratulations to Gotham for getting the full ranking season. We got a lot more videos coming up. But yeah. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this review. If you liked it, please leave a like below. And if you have any comments on the episode, if you've seen it, definitely hit me up. Any spoilers, please do not put it up here. But if you have not seen the episode, definitely have any questions. I'll try to answer the best I can. But this is SCL0320 signing out.